Oh my God. Bit silly, innit? Bit silly. Little bit silly. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am here with a book haul. This is nuts. This is probably the most nuts book haul I'm ever going to do. So I'm kind of peaking a bit early here. It's all secondhand books. I love secondhand books. It is my vice. I love secondhand books. I live in a place where there is like an abundance of secondhand bookshops, antique shops, charity shops. Like, I'm not safe. I'm actually not safe, and I don't help myself either, because the second I see a book that I find like at all intriguing, it's coming home with me. There is no two ways about it. It's coming home with me. This pile, I've just got, you can see a little bit here, you saw it in the intro probably. This was accumulated over maybe like 2 months, which is still stupid. This is still absolutely ridiculous. At least it wasn't over like a week. This was 2 months. So this was all either a mix of, like I said, charity shops, antique shops, secondhand bookshops, vintage. It's a mishmash of those. Let's just get started because there's a lot to get through. So I'm going to start off with 2 books. Now you're going to be thinking there's no correlation between these two. There is. So they have a specific category. So the first one is George Eliot's The Mill on the Floss. And then the second one is Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood. Now, let's take a moment for these covers. I'm really picky about covers, by the way. Like, if the cover's not giving, I'm not picking it up. Even if it's a book I'm desperate to read, the cover has to give. And I know that's terrible, but that's my truth. This nice, like, older copy. And then Oxford Classics. I do like an Oxford Classic. I prefer a Penguin Classic, but sometimes the Oxford Classics really eat, and this one really eats. Now, these two I bought on recommendation of Ruby Granger. Ruby Granger is my best friend. She doesn't know it, but that's my best friend. She, in some recent videos, spoke about these 2 books and how they are some of her... In fact, no, she did a video. It was like 50 favourite books of all time. And I was taking notes watching that video, and these 2 books came up, and I saw these 2 books, and I had to purchase because Queen Ruby said so. I would do anything for Ruby Granger. But yeah, I'm not going to say fully what all of these are about, because I feel like you could just look that up, and we'll be here for 40 minutes, which was my first video. It was 40 minutes long. Yeah, you know, sibling dynamics, friendship dynamics. Say less. Next one I saw was in a secondhand bookshop, and it is Jacob's Room by Virginia Woolf. It doesn't have a dust jacket. Look at that little gold, the gold spine. I'm trying to collect all of Virginia Woolf's work physically, specifically, because I like having classics physically, because I tend to want to annotate them more. So I tend to just get them physically, and also they have really beautiful editions. But I saw this one, and I just thought it was absolutely gorgeous. It was, when was it brought out? In the 70s. This was a 70s copy, yeah. Jacob's Room. It's not one of her most popular ones, but again, I'm trying to read everything she's ever written. So, and then next one. These are all very random, actually. These are all very random. I'm picking up in the random order because I can't remember the order I bought them in. Next one is Bonjour Tristesse by, oh my God, Francois Sagan. I'm not going to do a French accent. That's really silly. If I can't speak French, I don't want to do a French accent and sound like a fool. Bonjour Tristesse. I love the idea of a summer classic, and this is one that comes up again and again and again and again. And I know the writing isn't to everyone's taste. It's like it's very popular, but like the writing is a very specific vibe, and I want to give it a go for myself. And there was a film made with Chloe Sevigny, is that how you say her name? And that intrigues me as well, based on this book. So yes, Bonjour Tristesse. Next, Christadora. Now, I got this on Vinted. I've been meaning to read this for a while for many reasons. One, it's giving ethically sourced A Little Life, if that makes any sense. Like, it seems like it touches on some of the topics of A Little Life, but not in an absolutely horrendous way. And the thing is, I don't even hate A Little Life. I just think it is problematic, but I also do like it. 2 truths can exist. I contain multitudes. Okay. But also Ira Sachs, who I adore, he is adapting this book, and I want to read it before I see the movie. I don't think he's made the film yet, but I really want to read this. But yeah, no, it's set in the East Village. It is set during the AIDS crisis. So I have to be in a good mental headspace to read that one. Depresso Espresso. Next, another classic, Tessa the D'Urbervilles, Thomas Hardy. I found this for £1 in an antique shop. It is Sun Bleach to Hell on the spine, which for £1 you can't really go wrong. Most of the covers of Tessa the D'Urbervilles I don't like, and I've been meaning to read this. I want to get into Thomas Hardy because I love the movie Far From the Madding Crowd. It's one of my favourite period dramas of all time. I actually have that coming from Vinted. It just hasn't arrived in time for this video. But I've also heard amazing things about Tessa the D'Urbervilles, and one of my friends it's his favourite book. And so when my friends say something's their favourite book, I want to know. I have FOMO. I need to know why you love the book so much. So got this one. It's got little strawberries on the front. Gorge. What are they called? Is it the Vintage Classics? Yeah, the Vintage Classics. They're not usually my favourite. I actually don't tend to like their covers. I think they're quite ugly, but this one is an exception. I really like this one. Next, so something about me you need to know is I'm nosy. I'm really nosy. And so I do like reading journals from dead famous writers. And I know to some people that's really problematic. But here we are. Judge me all you want. I got on Vinted the journals of Sylvia Plath, forward by Ted Hughes. I've not read The Bell Jar yet. I need that to be known. I have not read The Bell Jar yet. I've read some of her poetry and I think it's beautiful. And I know she was quite a divisive figure. And I didn't buy the unabridged journal entries only because I just wanted to get a flavour. I don't need all of them. Do you know what I mean? So I got the selected journals and I saw this for a really good price on Vinted and I thought, fuck it. Next, I got a little Dickens Momo. I have read A Christmas Carol and I really liked it. I don't think I'm going to read all of his oeuvre. Is that how you say oeuvre? But Great Expectations sounds amazing. The vibes are really, really very gothic vibes from what I understand, from what I've seen of some of the adaptations, like the film adaptations. There's a lot of adaptations of this book and like there's TV shows and stuff. The vibe of it that I'm really intrigued by is it Miss Havisham? The one who's in her wedding dress and she just lives in her wedding dress. That is beyond interesting. And so, yep. Old lady living in a dilapidated mansion and I don't know much else about it. And there's like 2 kids that grow up and they fall in love or something. I'm going to read it probably this winter. That's the goal anyway. Okay, found this one. One of the Penguin classics, one of the older Penguin classics. Again, these are really hit or miss for me, I'm not going to lie to you. But I found this Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley kind of like tie-in of like 2 of their pieces of writing. Their relationship as mother and daughter and how they influenced each other is just like insanely fascinating to me. I've not read Frankenstein. Again, another goal of mine to read it, and I think there's a biography called Romantic Outlaws. I think that's what it's called, and I really want to read that because again, it's just their relationship fascinates me. Writers and what inspires them, their inspirations, what they look to inspire their creative work are just fascinating. And I've always wanted to read Mary Wollstonecraft as well, and so this is a tie-in of Mary and Maria and Matilda by Mary Shelley. So I saw that. It was like £1. I couldn't say no. I could not say no. Next, we're almost there. Actually, why am I lying? I'm a liar. So I love André Aciman. I know he is also quite a divisive writer. I've mentioned in my last video that I love Call Me By Your Name. I'm basic. Leave me alone. It's fine. So I have been trying to read. I want to read all of his work basically, and he has an essay collection. Did not know he had an essay collection, and so I found this on Vinted. For, again, a really cheap price. Homo Aurelius is his essay collection. I'm intrigued. I'm endlessly intrigued by André Aciman, and I've added that to the old collection. I tend to like having essay collections physically, so I can annotate them because I tend to want to annotate those. Another little classic Momo, Edith Wharton, The House of Mirth. Someone I really like on YouTube is I think his name's Bren Booth Jones. If I got that wrong, I'm really sorry, but I really love his classic recommendations and he always recommends Edith Wharton. And I saw this beautiful is it the Penguin English Library editions? Is that what they're called? I don't like the hard covers of them. I like how they look, but they fade and they're not practical to read. So I like that they've got the paperbacks of them now. So I found this in a secondhand bookshop and gorgeous cover. And Edith Wharton, want to read her. I have her book Summer coming as well. I bought it on Vinted, and it's really short, and I'd probably want to read it this summer, actually. The second it gets here, I'll probably read it. Anne of Green Gables. I think everyone and their mum has recommended this book as like a beautiful, cozy tale of girlhood, living rurally, etc. I've not watched the show, but a lot of people on BookTube, especially like a lot of the women that I watch on BookTube, recommend this and say it's one of their favorite books of all time. And actually, that's all you need to tell me. And I saw this absolutely beautiful, tiny little penguin copy in a secondhand bookshop. It's one of my favorite secondhand bookshops where I live, actually. Or is it a Puffin book? No, it's not Penguin. Is it Puffin? No, it's Puffin. Excuse me. But yeah, Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I'm probably not going to read the whole series. I mean, who knows? Never say never. But I just wanted to give this a try because it sounds absolutely delightful. Little Fran Lebowitz. What do you know about Fran Lebowitz? I've got the Fran Lebowitz Reader, which is Metropolitan Life and Social Studies. Her two kind of, is it her essay collections? Do you want to say it's her kind of musings on life and living in New York, put together in this one lovely edition. I got this on Vinted. I just think she's bloody hilarious. Because I've been in like the Peter Hujar world, as I've said this year, I've really delved into Peter Hujar, and she was friends with him, and she's done a few talks on Peter Hujar, and that's kind of how I found out about her. Like most people find out about her from like the Martin Scorsese documentaries that she's been a part of, which I've not seen yet, and I would really like to. Like Public Speaking, I really want to watch. But I've watched so many talks with her. I've just been obsessed this year. I've watched so many, and in every single one, I'm howling. I'm actually howling, and I just love how honest she is. And she's just so unashamedly herself, and I'm obsessed. So can't wait to read her writing. And that's actually the only two books she's written, right? I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I'm excited to dive into that one. Also, look how iconic that cover is. Come on. Howard's End by E.M. Forster. I'm sorry. Are we seeing this cover? Are we actually clocking this cover's tea? Because look at that. I've said this before. Old movie covers for books, I adore. I absolutely adore. And I saw this in a secondhand bookshop. And I've been meaning to read Howard's End for a while. I've not seen the film yet, but it just sounds like something I would really love. And I saw this, and our head to pick it up. I just had to pick it up. Next one. This feels really timely. So I picked up Sense and Sensibility. Okay. The film trailer just dropped recently at the time of recording. I saw the new trailer for the new adaptation of this, the new film adaptation, and I think it might be my film of the year. And I know that's really crazy to say. I said Peter Hujar's Day is my film of the year. It could trump that. I don't know, because it just looks perfect. It looks like utter perfection, and I'm so excited for it, but I've still not read it. The only Austen I've read is Pride and Prejudice, and I read it in school. And so I've decided I really need to just jump into Austen myself, and I think this might be my first one, and I think I'm going to do it before the movie comes out, because I'm just dying to watch. Because I've seen the film adaptation with Emma Thompson, Kate Winslet, and I love it. So yes. And I found this in another secondhand bookshop for £1, and I'm really glad I did, because now I think everyone's going to want to read it because of the movie. And I found this really gorgeous edition. Last few, I found this really lovely copy of Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. I just love this. It's got her face on it. I think that's really lovely. And everyone and their mum who has read this has told me that they thought it was utter perfection. It's one of their favourite books they've ever read. And while I was in the secondhand bookshop, I was reading the first few pages, and I thought her writing it just sucked me in straight away. And so I'm really excited to get to this. I think it might change my life. I want it to. When people tell me that a book's changed their life, that's actually all I need to hear. I'm really easily influenced, actually. Next one. Actually, in the same secondhand bookshop, I found this really lovely edition of Stephen King's On Writing, a memoir of the craft. Again, I like writing for myself. It's just something I do for my own creative outlet. And I've heard that this book is really fantastic and a really great starting point if you want to start writing more for yourself or like professionally, whatever it may be. And again, this cover is Gag City. It's Gag City. Look at that. I'm planning on reading Pet Sematary at Halloween, actually. I've never read Stephen King. And I'm going to read Pet Sematary on Halloween, and I think I'm going to hate myself for it because apparently it's terrifying. I've watched a lot of adaptations, but not read any of his fiction yet. but I've heard this is a really good book on writing, so eager to get into that one. And then I've picked up from the same secondhand bookshop. I was actually kind of on a run in that bookshop, I'm not going to lie. I found this really lovely little biography of J.R.R. Tolkien, sorry. And look at that little picture of him. Cute! Cute little old man. Old men make me cry, but that's a story for another time. I watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended editions for the first time this year because of my best friend Helen. Shout out to you, Helen, because I'm now obsessed. Because I watched the film Tolkien as well, which is fine. It's fine. I don't know how true it is either. I've heard mixed things, but I saw this little biography and I was like, I have to pick this up because again, I love literary biographies. It's like my favorite subgenre of books. I just love it. And there's like lovely little pictures in there. I think it's stunning. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to get stuck into it. I don't know what is considered the biography of Tolkien. I don't know if it's this one. Let me know. If you have any idea. But yeah, excited to get into that one. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, I went into a secondhand bookshop. Apparently, I live in them now, and I found this beautiful set of, the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. Look at that. Look how stunning that is. This was. I paid about like 20 something pounds for this because I don't like any of the new covers. I don't like them. I think they're really boring, and I only really like the old covers of them. Let me just get one of them. I'm not going to get all of them out, but this is The Return of the King. Look at that. That's so fun. I love that. I think that's lovely, and they're in such good condition. I just had to. I literally could not say no. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. Won't do it. Didn't do it. Bought it. Happy about it. Clock it. I just adored the trilogy, and I just can't wait to read them. And The Hobbit. Obviously, I'll start with The Hobbit first. I'm not crazy. I'm not going to skip The Hobbit. That would be mad. But yeah, love these editions. Beautiful, stunning. And it came with the original case as well. I thought that was a good steal. Last thing. It's 3 books, but it's also another series. His Dark Materials. I found this. This was £7 for all 3. I think that's pretty good. Some of the spines are, cracked, but that does not bother me whatsoever. And again, it was on the recommendation of my friend Jess. She loves Philip Pullman and His Dark Materials. And again, if my friend or my friends love something, I want to be in on it and I want to understand it and I want to see what they love about it so much. And so I picked these up in a secondhand bookshop because again, I live in them. I apparently live in them. So yes, what a delight. What a treat. My bank account's low-key quaking, girls. Oh my goodness. And I've got 4 coming on Vinted as well. And again, they did not arrive in time for this video. I've got Susan Sontag coming. So Susan Sontag's essays on women. I've got Far From Mad and Crowd by Tom Hardy. I've got a beautiful edition of Wuthering Heights. It's like the penguin orange covers. I've got that coming of Wuthering Heights. I saw that on Vinted for £5 and I was like, I'm sorry, you're coming home with me. And then I've got James Baldwin, Another Country coming. So yeah, they would have been in this video, but they didn't arrive in time. But yes, I love secondhand books. I also buy new, but I tend to mainly buy secondhand. I really, really enjoy them. Support your local charity shops, antique shops, small businesses, and support independent bookshops as well. If you don't like buying secondhand, support your independence. But yeah, that's my absolutely massive secondhand book haul. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure there'll be more in the future because I can't help myself. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will catch you next time.